What's going on, traders? Welcome to my stream. This video is going to be quite difficult, quite hard for me to explain because I'm up $9,000 and yet I still suck. I should have been up way more profits today, but obviously there was a ticker that I didn't trade accurately, and I did, I'm up like around 10K. Here you have GXI, and here you have PRFX, right? But what it got me to, I'm up this amount of money, but I still suck. And I'm gonna explain why I suck. Obviously, you want to know why I suck because I'm up close to 6 digits, but we're gonna look at the whole history of me trading PRFX today. And PRFX has been a pretty interesting trade for me today because initially I was long on this ticker since I seen the Google news. I was originally long on a small position around $3. Then I sold it at 250. So my first actually entry on this Google news was actually terrible. I longed it at 3 and sold it at like 250, which was terrible, to tell you the truth. And then my second trade on it, I started buying it again at 280, which was here, a VWAP reclaim, right about here. And then as the stock went higher, I kept buying more. I kept buying more. I kept buying more. Initially, I had around 20,000 shares at an average price of around $3. You can see my average price was around $3. And I was thinking we are going to break this daily resistance because we had news with Google. I think the news was joins NVIDIA Connect program. So I was initially just adding on the way up, and pretty much I had a 3 average, and I had 20,000 shares, and I was pretty freaking happy. And then next thing you know, I have a sell order to sell at 334 and 338. Next thing you know, we hit 338, and I did not get filled. I did not get filled at 334, and I did not get filled at 338. In this situation, I should have been up like, I don't know, around 6K win, and I did not. And that was a bummer because that was a bummer. I eventually thought that we're going to break this 340, 350 break because the volume was astronomical. We were above this candle over here, which was 80 million if you look on the bottom. And I thought we're going to break that level and we're going to break this 350 and we're going to run to 4 or 5 or something astronomical. But in this situation, I held my threes and we went back to the 340 line or whatever you want to call it. And this 340 line rejected horribly. So I had 3 average. We dip back down under VWAP. We get picked back up. We hit the resistance lines of 350, which coincided with the intraday pre-market resistance. And then I eventually dumped it at 320. So I only really made 20 cents, where I should have had a really I should have had a really healthy profit, considering the fact that I originally bought it at 280 and it went to 350. I should have made at least 70 cents a share, but I only made 20 cents a share. So this is the reason why I suck. My orders did not get filled at all at 338 and 334. So that was bummer. I eventually dumped it all at 317 and 316. And I eventually tried it again long over here, and then I got stopped out again. Right about where is it? Hold on. Eventually I did try to go long again at 320, and I got stopped out again. So the only good thing that I did over here is pretty much shorting it, which was over here on the backside. As I got short here at 293, that was my best trade because I was recognizing that we did a fake out over here, and then I got short over here, and then I covered over here. So initially I had a 70-cent profit, and then I pretty much tried to long it again, and my bias hasn't changed. And then I recognized that this is a short to daily resistance, and we're not going to break this 350. And I shorted 290, covered 250, and it probably will go lower. So the reason why I suck is because I do lose, I do not take profits just like any other person, and I do lose. Like, I'll explain to you another ticker that I'm pretty much a little bit bummed out because this other ticker, as you can see, that today's profit on the other ticker that I actually made money on. What is it? The other ticker that I made money on. There we go. I did make pretty huge money on GXAI. GXAI. This ticker was relatively very choppy. And that's just the nature of the business. GXAI. The nature of the business is pretty bad because I was originally long as we broke the pre-market highs, which was over here, and right about here I was originally long, and then we got really rejected. I was buying it again here, I was buying it here, and I was buying it here. So multiple times in GXI, as I was buying it on the way up, I got rejected. So I lost like 3 times on it. Only after we broke out of this wedge in GXI, we eventually, I bought it at 190, sold 210, and then bought it again at 218, sold it at 236. So only when we broke out of this wedge. Keep in mind, GXI was pretty interesting. I mean, the chart wasn't that spectacular at all, but we did have some AI news, and it's the first green day, so 6 milli float, 166 million in volume, a lot of sixes here, but I did manage to make pretty much profit in it. So the reason I suck is because I do take losses, especially here when I'm stubborn. Right here in this chop, I got stopped out. And then once the area broke, I did take this profit and I did take this profit to make back my loss. So I did get chopped out. Here was a flat, here was a flat, and here was a nice chop. But eventually we broke out on the first green day and we actually pushed towards 250 before selling off. And the other ticker that I said, is PRFX. PRFX, I had the right idea. Initially, I went long, I got stopped out, and then I thought we are going to push towards 350 or something. So I had a lot of shares into the threes to sell into the 350s, and soon enough, I did not get filled at 338 and 328. And then after this flush candle right here, like right here, we hit 350. You see that? We hit 359, and instead of walking it all out, I thought we're going to break 350 and I'm going to have a huge trade. But soon enough, in the next candle here, I got dumped on. So the reason I suck is not because I'm not green today. You can be green at any moment in time, especially if I watch my whoop and I'm able to sleep right. I'm able to make decisions even though I'm red. But the reason I suck is that I did overtrade GXI multiple times, more than 2 times, and I lost on it more than 2 times. And I did not take profits in PRFX. The majority of the bulk of my profit in PRFX was actually short, when my bias initially was to be a freaking long. So the reason I suck is, even though I'm up, a staggering amount of money, I still do suck. I can make more, and I can make more. I should have been up way more, so I do suck. For you guys, it's probably, this is very hard. PRFX was a great long. You could see that for a moment here. For 25 minutes, it looked like they were about to pull the plug, and soon enough, they saved it, and we took it to 250 to 350, and soon enough, I thought we are going to break 350 so I can have a huge win. I averaged in, and soon enough, I only made 20 cents. 20 cents, and I could have made 70 cents. The reason I suck in this scenario is because I didn't take profits. And the reason I suck in GXI is because I overtraded it in a chop area. And you might say, hey, this stock moved up and down only 10 cents. But I'm telling you, when you come in and out with 10,000 shares, you're down 1,000, you buy it, you're down 1,000, you buy it, and then eventually I'm up 2,000, and then I'm up another 2,000. That's kind of like how the day worked. So I did manage to go green on GXI, and then I did manage to go green on PRFX, even though I made most amount of money on the short side. So the reason I suck is because I'm nowhere near perfect, like you might all think. Like, as soon as you join, there's going to be this magic guy that's going to win 100% of the time. But I do focus on the tickers that matter. And today, the tickers that matter were GXI as a long. Even though it was choppy in the beginning, it was a long. And PRFX was a long in the pre-market, and then it was a short, the daily resistance, once that 350 pretty much died on. there was definitely range. You know, it doesn't take much to make money. All you need is 1,500 shares or 100 shares or 300 shares, and you're pretty much up a couple hundred or a couple thousand. So it doesn't take much to make a lot of money. The reason I suck is because I break rules just like any other person, not take profits, and pretty much over trade a ticker in this chop feast of pretty much GXI. You can see the chop feast. Like, this is not a normal pattern. You see, this is not a normal pattern. But soon enough, this ticker was choppy. And soon enough, we did break out, but it was 45 minutes of chop, and then we broke out. Those are the drawbacks of this business. You either trade a stock that's choppy and eventually breaks out, or you not take profits and you get stubborn buying a stock at 3, averaging in from 280, buying more at 290, buying more at 3, having a 3 average. Having hit 350, you are up huge, and then not taking it, and in half a second later, you're down to 320, only making 20 cents. These are the upsides and the downsides of trading. You have to be very disciplined, and you have to be locking profits in, even though this stock, PRFX, did have NVIDIA news, and I was overly optimistic about it because, PRFX and NVIDIA, NVIDIA is the hard, I mean, I do have it in my swing trade account. So any small cap linked to NVIDIA, you can see $90 to $1.80, will pretty much perform. So I'm very skeptical to short it, but in this situation, the move here from $1 to 350 was all the move that it did. Gladly, I would have hoped for more. Sadly, it didn't do much. Other than that, see you all in my next video, and make sure you tune in to my live stream each morning. Other than that, for the educational purposes only, peace out.